So let's talk about what might just be the next giant leap for AI. We're all used to AI that can handle text and images, right? But we're about to dive into something new. AI that can actually understand, model, and even reason about the world using video.
All right, let's get right into it. We've all seen the absolute explosion of large language models, LLMs. I mean, they've totally rewritten the rules for how we interact with computers. So the big question we're asking today is, are we right on the edge of that same kind of GPT-3 moment, but for computer vision?
To really get what's going on, you gotta look back a bit. Natural language processing, or NLP, used to be this toolbox of separate, specialized gadgets. You had one model for translation, a different one for summarizing text, another for Q&A. Then, boom, LLMs came along and swept all that into one single do-it-all model. And right now, computer vision is still kind of in that old toolbox phase. One model to find edges in a photo, another to label objects. But that's all starting to change fast. And to see just how it's changing, we're going to dig into this really cool paper from Google DeepMind. They basically took their latest video model, Veo-3, and started poking at it to see what it could do that it was never taught. And some of the skills that just emerged are pretty incredible.
Okay, so there's one key idea we've got to wrap our heads around, and it's called zero-shot learning. It sounds complicated, but it's actually a wild concept. It means you can give a model a task it has literally never seen before. No special training, no extra data, and just by asking it, it figures out how to do it. It's like explaining the rules of a brand new board game to a friend, and they immediately play like a pro.
The researchers laid out their findings using this really smart framework, 4 levels of visual intelligence. Each one builds on the last. You start with just basic seeing, and you work your way all the way up to solving complex problems visually. So let's walk through them one by one. First up, the foundation, perception. This is just the raw ability to make sense of visual data. What's amazing is that Veo-3 can do all these classic computer vision jobs, like finding the edges of an object or separating it from the background, without ever being explicitly trained to do them. It can even make sense of those tricky optical illusions, like that famous picture of the Dalmatian. It just sees the dog. No special instructions needed. All right, moving up to level 2, modeling. This is where it gets way more interesting. We're going from just seeing pixels to actually forming an internal, model of how the world works. The AI shows this gut-level grasp of physics, It gets that a rock will sink and a plastic bottle cap will float. It understands that light bends through glass differently than it bounces off a mirror. This means it's not just recognizing stuff. It's starting to learn the physical rules that govern everything. And this is where things get really, really mind-bending. We're now making the jump from just passively understanding